In today's news, over 160 professionals attended BVI's first tourism summit on Peter Island. VANTERPOOL promises to, and I quote, leave no stone unturned in solving murders. Companies urged to improve security measures amid vehicle theft surge. Governor confirms sexual offenses bill to be presented in 2025. Special envoy renews call for OTs to receive climate resilient support, centered on proposed policy to register of beneficial ownership, and board of directors created to continue one VI agenda. In addition, spacecraft breaks apart during ASCENT. MUSK cites possible fuel leaks. We have the details of this and so much more when 284 News returns on the local, regional, and international scene.
Some claim that the age of a true gentleman is far behind us, but we disagree. He may appear in different guises today, but the values and ideals that make him a gent still stand. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman by yours truly, Ron Grant, presents Season 7. Introducing Travi Rose, Creative Director, Alex Lake, Businessman, Sean Black, Cinematographer, Dakari Wheatley Adams, Content Creator, Donandre Millwood, Educator and Musician, Hashim Dream, Entertainer, James Todman Sr., Contractor, Dr. Albert Tompkins, Psychotherapist, Walter Barrett, Author, Rakim Todman, Producer and Engineer, Kamal Letson, Photographer, Roosevelt Smith III, Sales Manager and Hospitality Professional, Leland Abraham, IT Technician and Cybersecurity Analyst. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman Season 7, coming January 29th at 8 p.m. exclusively on 284 Media. Get ready to reason, reflect, and redefine yourself through the stories of real-life heroes. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman Season 7, Raising a Generation of Greatness. Voted Top 35 Gentleman Podcast Worldwide by FeedSpot and BI Icon Award winner.
Hello everyone and welcome to this edition of 284 News. It is Friday, January 17th, 2025. I'm Ron Grant bringing you the very latest out of Tortola in the Virgin Islands. A happy Friday's wish to each and every one of you. Thank you all so much for joining us. Beginning our newscast, the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Sustainable Development in partnership with the British Virgin Islands Tourist Board and the British Virgin Islands Yachting, Hotel, as well as Tourism Association hosted a much anticipated Virgin Islands Tourism Summit 2025. The event took place to the 16th and 17th of January at the Peter Island Resort, bringing together key industry stakeholders to discuss, share, and collaborate on shaping the future of tourism in the Virgin Islands. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, Mr. Joseph Smith Abbott, spoke on the importance of this summit.
This summit marks the beginning of a significant journey, a journey to shape the future of tourism in the Virgin Islands. Through your participation, feedback, insights, we will be guided in formulating a comprehensive national tourism policy. This process builds on the foundation laid during our previous consultations in early 2024, where over 70 individuals comprising businesses, government, civic and private sector partners contributed to the development of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, OECS, Regional Tourism Policy, which will be released in the first quarter of this year and will serve as a valuable reference for our own national strategy. The National Tourism Plan emerging from this process will be informed by the collective views, expertise, knowledge, and understanding of practitioners like yourselves.
Mrs. Sharon Flax Brutus, chair of the BVI Yachting, Hotel and Tourism Association, spoke on the progress needed to move the industry forward.
This summit represents an invaluable opportunity for all of us to come together as stakeholders, visionaries, and partners with a shared purpose, strengthening the foundation of BVI tourism and building a resilient and sustainable future. While it's easy to view events like this as just another item on the annual calendar, a tick box, if you will, we must resist that mindset. This summit must serve as a turning point, a catalyst for meaningful change. Collaboration should not just be a buzzword. We hear the word used often, But let us be focused and mindful that collaboration does not mean to simply agree with any and every initiative. In my mind, it means discussion. It means sharing and listening to all views. It means looking at the pros and cons of all decisions and strategies and then deciding the best way to move forward. I must admit that I tend to be a bit worried about our tourism industry. So those of you who know me know that I will not stand here and act as if all is well. We have made strides since the storms of 2017, as well as the pandemic. But I would like us to stop trotting this out as an excuse as to why we are at this juncture.
Chairman of the BVI Tourist Board, Mrs. Delma Maduro, reflected on the success of the industry in some of the BVI's most difficult times.
This gathering is a pivotal moment for our territory, uniting leaders from across the tourism sectors to help shape the future of an industry that is the lifeblood of our economy. While the BVI continues to experience success stories and growth, as several recent publications have shown, and as was mentioned by Mrs. Flax Brutus, as well as can be seen from the recently published statistics, there are still untapped opportunities to be explored in a sustainable fashion. However, tourism in the Virgin Islands, it's not just about numbers. It's about the stories we tell, the experiences we offer, and the partnerships we forge.
Junior Minister for Culture and Tourism, the Honorable Luce Hodge-Smith, also delivered remarks stating that she hopes the summit will be the first of many. Leader of Government Business, Dr. the Honorable Natalia D. Wheatley, lauded the summit as a great step in developing the very important sector. Acting Commissioner of Police Jacqueline Vanterpool has assured the family of 20-year-old Quentin Noel, the victim of the BVI's very first murder of 2025, that the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force will, and I quote, leave no stone unturned in their pursuit of justice. Noel was fatally shot near his home in Purcell Estate just before 2 a.m. on Wednesday. Speaking at a press conference later that day, Vanterpool disclosed that preliminary evidence suggests he was riding a scooter when he was attacked and shot multiple times.
I can confirm that just before 2 a.m. this morning, Quentin Noel, a 20-year-old member of our community, was fatally shot near his home at Purcell Estate. Based on the evidence collected so far, we believed that Quentin was riding a scooter when he was attacked. He was shot multiple times and was pronounced dead at the scene by a medical doctor.
Acting Commissioner Vanterpool also revealed that she visited Noel's grieving family to offer condolences on behalf of the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force and pledged her unwavering commitment to solving the crime. The Acting Commissioner also emphasized the importance of community support during this very difficult time and urged friends, family, neighbors to provide assistance to Noel's family. Vanterpool's call for anyone with information to, of course, come forward, stressing the extremely critical role the public plays in cooperation in solving such cases. Persons can contact the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force at 311 or anonymously at 800-8477. Additionally, the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force say they remain steadfast in their commitment to ensuring public safety and addressing violent crimes within the territory. Further updates on the investigations will be, of course, ongoing, and we will keep you updated. Up next, viewers, we have much more on the local and regional scene. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
Orange alert! Orange alert!
Fire is spreading across the BVI. The fastest, most reliable, and affordable fiber internet service is here for you. Look out for fire in these new locations: Slaney, Duff Bottom, Manual Reef, Seacows Bay, Albion, Hannah's, Palestine, Alpena, Pleasant Valley, and Havers. Fiber is in your area. Call 444-4444 or visit a CCT store to find out more and bring it home. More locations coming soon.
Welcome back, everyone, and thank you all for sticking with us. Superintendent Palawa Allen of the Royal Regence Police Force has issued an urgent appeal to vehicle rentals and their companies to enhance what she calls security practices following a spike in the vehicle thefts across the territory, many of which involve rental cars being used in the commission of serious crimes. Speaking at a press conference on Wednesday, January 15th, Allen highlighted the very troubling trend, noting that the first 2 weeks of 2025 have already been an uptick in thefts.
Last year, we had an uptick in the number of property crime. We had burglaries and theft. This year, the start of the year is no different. For the past 2 weeks, we see an uptick in the number of vehicular theft. And this contributes to the serious crime that are being committed. What we see happening, and I want to send out this appeal to rental vehicle owners. What we see happening at most of the ports, especially the seaports, is that tourists, when they rent vehicles, they are left at the ports with the keys inside. The perpetrators then go and they remove the vehicles. The vehicles are then used in the commission of these serious offenses or crime that is happening.
The superintendent also noted that criminals are removing license plates from derelict vehicles and affixing them to stolen cars, further complicating police investigations. She also called on residents to address the issue of derelict vehicles with attached license plates and to remain vigilant, she said, in reporting suspicious activity.
And I want to appeal to members of the community also, those who have derelict vehicles that are not working and they still have the registration plate still attached. What the perpetrators are doing, they are removing the registration plate and they are placing them at times on the stolen vehicles. So when a crime is reported to the police and we do our investigation, in most cases, when we think we are looking or we have the correct vehicle, that is not the case.
Superintendent Allen also urged rental companies to implement strategies to prevent these thefts from continuing.
I am sending an appeal out there to the community, the rental companies, especially of vehicles, to please come up with a plan. You can have the drivers leave the key in the vehicle by you having a spare key. You can make arrangements for picking up the vehicle at the same time it's being dropped off. Or you can speak to the Port Authority, see where they can put a drop-down box so that the keys can be dropped off. It would make it a little easier for us and for the community.
Addressing the recent murder of 20-year-old Quentin Noel, the BVI's very first homicide of the year, Allen urged anyone with information to come forward.
I also want to appeal to the general public. This morning was our first murder. And we know when crimes have been committed, someone in the community is aware. Someone knows something, they hear something, or they saw something. So I am encouraged those who might have seen or heard something last night, and even with the reports of loud bangs or gunshots overnight, to call the police hotline, 1-800-8477-TIPS, or our Crime Intelligence Department, 368-9339, or our non-emergency number, 311, or I'm sure one of you have a police officer as a friend. You can pass on that information. We are all in it together.
As the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force continues its fight, they say, against crime, Allen stressed the importance of collective efforts to, and I quote, take a bite out of crime and ensure the safety of the BVI community. The long-anticipated Sexual Offences Bill, which aims to establish a robust legal framework for addressing sexual crimes in the Virgin Islands, is expected to be laid in the House of Assembly sometime in January 2025. This announcement was made by the Governor, His Excellency Daniel Pruis, during a speech from the throne on Tuesday, January 7th. Now, the proposed legislation will focus on tackling gender-based violence, reducing secondary trauma for victims, and monitoring sexual offenders post-release. It will outline the comprehensive procedures for the investigation, prosecution, and sentencing while aligning the territory's laws with international standards for addressing sexual offenses.
Substantial efforts have been made towards drafting a Sexual Offences Bill. The Sexual Offences Bill aims to create a legal framework that is sensitive to gender issues concerning various sexual crimes and aims to reduce secondary trauma for victims, as well as monitoring sexual offenders after their release. It will cover procedures for investigation, prosecution, and sentencing, while offering support to complainants and survivors. The Act will align the Virgin Islands with international standards for sexual offence laws by defining terms clearly and focusing on preventing gender-based violence.
In preparation for the bill, Governor Pruis said the Attorney General's Chambers has already submitted 7 supporting bills aimed at facilitating its implementation.
These include the Sexual Offender Register Bill 2024, the Offences Against the Persons Amendment Bill 2024, the Evidence Amendment Bill 2024, the Criminal Code Amendment Bill 2024, the Criminal Justice Alternative Sentencing Bill 2024, the Computer Misuse and Cybercrime Amendment Bill 2024, and finally the Children and Young Persons Amendment Bill, also of 2024.
Governor Pruis also confirmed that the Sexual Offences Bill and the Parole Bill would be deliberated in the House during this legislative session.
The Sexual Offences Bill of 2025 and the Parole Amendment Bill will be brought to the House of Assembly during this session for deliberation. The public and all stakeholders will be consulted as the legislation goes through the required process.
The progress builds on earlier assurances, that is, made by the 2024 Health Minister in 2024, that is, Social Development, the Honorable Vincent Wheatley, as he indicated that substantial efforts were underway to draft the bill with plans to present it in the House of Assembly by September of 2024. Now that has since long passed, but his commitment came after renewed calls from Deputy Speaker Honorable Stacey Mather, who sought clarity on the government's progress in addressing sexual offenses and establishing a sexual offender register. The government of the Virgin Islands has initiated a public constitutional proposed policy aimed at defining access and rights to the Register of Beneficial Ownership, a critical step in aligning with global standards for financial transparency. As an international finance hub, the British Virgin Islands remains committed to combating illicit finance and maintaining its reputation for financial integrity. The proposed policy represents a significant advancement in the territory's efforts to adopt international best practices while balancing, of course, privacy with transparency. Premier Minister of Finance, as well as Financial Services, Economic Development, and Digital Transformation, Dr. the Honorable Natalia de Wheatley, underscored the importance of this initiative. He said, "This consultation underscores the government's unwavering commitment to ensuring that the British Virgin Islands remains a leader in the financial services industry, as well as being transparent and operating with integrity." He noted that his administration is taking proactive steps to strengthen its systems to align with international best practices and provide a robust framework that balances privacy, transparency, and much more. Additionally, he also encouraged all stakeholders to practice emphasizing the need for a policy that reflects industry needs and encourage them to participate to encourage them to meet global standards. Recent legislative and regulatory challenges, as well as some upcoming changes, took effect from the 2nd of January 2025, and the BVI'S framework for collecting beneficial ownership information as well as informing the general public. Now, these changes include the migration of data from the beneficial ownership secure system to the upgrade of the digital registry of system version. The proposed policy aims to grant access to beneficial ownership information to eligible categories within the demonstrable legitimate interest, underscoring specific circumstances. It also seeks to define a clear process for such access while protecting privacy rights. Up next, viewers, we have much more on the local and regional scene. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
Hello and welcome to today's episode of Pop the Balloon or Find the Connection. Let's meet our first contender, ladies. Okay, Joey, so do you have any toxic traits?
I'm very restrictive. I don't give more time. What you get is what you get. I don't like to give unlimited time. That's it.
Okay, can you tell us why you popped your balloon?
That's a little too restricted for me.
Thank you for coming. Okay, ladies, so let's meet our second contender.
Sorry, excuse me. Why did you pop a balloon?
A scam.
I could give you minutes, data, unlimited call, overseas call, fiber. What else you need?
My friend used to date you. You are a scam. She used to be for everything and more. Nothing to offer.
Okay, ladies, let's welcome our last contender. You look nice. Can you tell us your name?
Thank you. My name is Christian Charles Thomas. They call me C Sweetie.
What do you have to offer these ladies?
Well, security, trust, unlimited time, and a pretty fast.
Okay, so do you have any deal breakers?
Nah, but here's my number. 444-4444. E2. Vida Ilimitada.
Okay, guys, so no pop balloons.
For a fast, reliable, and secure connection for your personal or business life, call us at 444-4444 or visit any of our CCT stores and we'll get you connected with the perfect match for you.
Welcome back, everyone, and thank you all so much for sticking with us. Special envoy to the Premier of the Virgin Islands, Mr. Benito Wheatley, recently made a presentation at the Small Islands Developing States meeting where he lobbied for overseas territories to receive climate resilient support caused by hurricanes. Wheatley spoke at length on the BVI's own experience after the hurricanes of 2017.
Let me first thank the government and people of Peru for their warm hospitality in hosting this meeting. The British Virgin Islands continues to advocate on behalf of the 13 associate members of ECLAC that are also a part of this region, who genuinely need support to advance their sustainable development and climate resilience, particularly as vulnerable small island developing states. We are at risk of being left behind as preparations are made for the 4th International Conference on Financing for Development next year. You will recall that the British Virgin Islands was devastated by 2 Category 5 hurricanes in 2017 that inflicted $2.3 billion of damage across the islands. 85% of all building structures were damaged or destroyed. We received no direct grants or concessional financing for reconstruction. Our ongoing hurricane recovery is being financed by commercial loans that have significantly increased our national debt. To be clear, we receive no budget support or financial assistance from the United Kingdom. We also do not qualify for development finance or climate finance, despite our high vulnerability.
Additionally, he outlined what is needed for overall success within this regard.
Additionally, the recently agreed multidimensional
vulnerability index does not include the British Virgin Islands at this stage, which is unfortunate. We are literally stuck between a rock and a hard place. Madam Chair, this is the dilemma facing the associate members of ECLAC as we consider financing for development. The gaps in assistance to us were initially acknowledged in 2021 at the 4th meeting of the Forum of the Countries of Latin America and the Caribbean on Sustainable Development. This was reaffirmed at the 7th meeting of the Forum earlier this year. The associate members require capacity building support, technical assistance, technology transfer, access to development finance, and access to climate finance. It is our hope that here at this intergovernmental meeting, the gaps in assistance to the associate members and our ongoing needs will also be acknowledged, and that ECLAC will support our call for support to advance our sustainable development and climate resilience.
A year after the passing of former legislator and community advocate Carvin Malone, his vision for a united and empowered Virgin Islands is being brought to life in a powerful way. Members of his One Virgin Islands agenda have taken the next step in ensuring his legacy endures by forming a board of directors and moving forward with plans to register the organization as a non-profit organization. Malone started OVIA because he believed sincerely the power of education and awareness, and he wanted that to transcend through his country. He knew the knowledge that was key in empowering Virgin Islands should make its decision-making about the future. What began as a very small online chat group has grown into a dynamic platform, complete with a dedicated website offering valuable resources and information on issues like self-determination. To date, OVIA has 244 active members, encompassing a wide cross-section, that is, of the Virgin Islands community, a testament to Mr. Malone's lasting impact. The board is committed, they say, to continuing Malone's work guided by principles in the Virgin Islands Constitution Order of 2007, the Constitution's preamble, which affirms the people's desire to become self-governing and take greater control of their affairs, remains at the core of their mission. In collaboration, of course, with Malone's family, the board has created a 10-point agenda to carry his vision forward. This plan aims to continue educating and empowering all Virgin Islanders, ensuring the organization remains a voice for progress and unity within these beautiful British Virgin Islands. SpaceX latest Starship test flight ended in destruction Thursday after achieving a very rare booster capture, marking another dramatic capture within the development of the world's largest rocket. Now, viewers, just to break it down for you, this spacecraft carrying 10 dummy satellites broke apart approximately 8.5 minutes into flight after its engines shut down one by one during ascent. The last data received showed the vehicle at an altitude of 19 miles, traveling some 13,245 miles per hour. SpaceX achieved a significant milestone in just minutes before the loss, when its launch tower successfully caught the returning of the mechanism arms, nicknamed chopsticks, only the second time this feat has ever been accomplished. They said, and I quote, "It was a great deal to see this come down, but we are obviously bummed about the shape." In addition, they said it's a flight test. It's an experimental vehicle. Elon Musk, that's SpaceX founder, attributed the failure to a possible fuel leak that may, he said, been created and a pressure buildup above the engine firewall. He also announced that plans via X to add a fire suppression system to increase venting in the affected areas. That is a 400-foot rocket launch from Boca Chica Beach near the Mexican border in late afternoon. Now, the upgraded version of this Starship was supposed to complete a near global loop, similar to previous tests before planned re-entry over the Indian Ocean. Now, the incident disrupted air traffic, affecting Caribbean Airlines flight schedules into Friday morning. This was the 7th test flight for Starship, and the NASA plans to use their lunar landings later this decade, and of course, Musk ultimately aims to use the vehicle for Mars missions. That's it for our international scene. We thank you so much for joining us. That is it for today's news roundup. Be sure to follow us for your daily news updates at Tweet4Media and Tweet4BVI on Instagram and X, formerly Twitter. Be sure to, of course, follow us for our WhatsApp channel for daily updates, no matter the time. I'm Ron Grant. Do have a safe and enjoyable evening. A happy Friday's wish to each and every one of you, and enjoy your weekend. Goodbye.